Hey, folks, if ever you are in despair of the decision-making matrices that emerge from the collective consciousness of mankind in our wonderful century, may I point you towards the veritable bat signal of intellectual prowess and forward thinking on behalf of all, the state of Washington. Yes, friends and neighbors, the Democrats of the Washington state have enacted a plan whose goal is to completely get rid of non-electric cars by the year 2030. That's right, folks. 7.5 years to slow the spread of those gasoline-guzzling, carbon-producing, manufactured in Satan's butthole death machines. Just think of the grandeur. In 7.5 years, Washington state and the rest of the country, if we follow their example, will be a rich, lush, beautiful place once again with air so pure you could snort it through a $100 bill. Electric cars will roam the land, silent and futuristic, virtue signaling to the rest of the world about what utopian possibilities lie ahead of us. Truly, all will be free and life will be beautiful once again. There's only one tiny little problem, of course. We talked about this in the first episode of Overtime a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to talk about it again right now. Electric vehicles are incredibly wasteful, and you're going to love the next part. In order for the United States to produce the number of electric vehicles it supposedly needs to reach its, quote, clean energy goals, we got to swoop up that pickaxe and go mining for lithium. And guess where we're going to do it? Guess where? That's right. The Emma effing rainforest. That's right, folks. We haven't got anywhere near the amount of lithium we need in the whole country, let alone in the state of Washington, to do this kind of thing at all. So watch out, Chile, because we're coming for you. We couldn't be chopping down all those trees back in the day because it was going to cause an environmental catastrophe. Not only that, but it was going to be bad for wildlife in the area and harming lands that were held sacred by indigenous people. But now that it suits our purposes, totally fine. Sorry, indigenous people, pack your shit. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I know that I've asked this question so many times that you could be forgiven for thinking I'm only trying to plug my book at this point, but am I crazy or has the whole friggin' world gone nuts? Folks, I'm not opposed to the researching and implementation of cleaner forms of energy as we go along. I'm all for it. But as we've seen far too many times already at this point, when you try to force it into happening before it's actually ready to happen, you get disaster. If Washington state truly plans to ban gas-powered cars by 2030, they're going to have to either be a police state or a statewide riot on their hands. They're going to have a problem. Because here's the cold, hard truth that none of you leftist pansies out there want to face. Electric cars, they ain't there yet. They're really cool, and they're an interesting idea, and someday they may even be worth it because they may not pollute the environment and take up the enormous amount of fossil fuel-burning energy to charge. I love the idea of living in the world of Star Trek as much as the next guy, but we're not there yet. You can be concerned for the environment without stooping to the intellectual level of a 3-year-old, folks. It is possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to pop up my popcorn and put a straw in my big drink and get comfortable because it should be a fun movie watching Washington State. Love y'all. God bless.